Great.
Oh, right. Oh, bye. I'm at.
How's everyone doing?
Hey, sorry about that. Good. Hi, how are you?
Hey, Lars, good to meet you face to face. I feel like we've been emailing.
You've been busy. I've been pretty bad, but yes, thank you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll make you a co-host, Ujima. Wait, so Lars, you said y'all are moving spaces, or you're kind of in the middle of a move?
We are, yeah. We're moving from Somerville to Boston, so that's like 42,000 square feet of 10 years worth of art making.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's insane.
Yeah, so it's been a little in the boxes.
Wow. I mean, I used to live in Somerville, so I'm sad to see y'all go. I used to live by Aeronaut Brewery.
Oh yeah, sure. That's exactly
close
where
by
we are.
Yeah, exactly. So,
well, we're moving to the Aeronaut, near the Aeronaut Beer Garden in Alston, Brighton. So it's not too far, and they're still there. But it's a fun community up here. Come visit.
Cool. I will. How have you been, Dzidor, hanging in there for October?
Yeah, October is such a busy month, so I'm trying to hold off. I'm trying to stay grounded. Maybe that's the best way to put it.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. How have you been, Paige?
I've been okay. There's a lot going on at Ujima, as you all know. So also trying to stay grounded. I had a great summer, I feel like, and I'm really sad that summer is ending. So I'm trying not to let that get me down. But I don't know, winter in Boston is always hard. So yeah.
Does anybody have an update out of curiosity on the podcast group? Is that still going on? Or is that, because I'm just curious if they've
Yeah, I think they might be on hiatus or on a break now. I think what's kind of taken its place is the business support team just co-produced a podcast for the businesses that are in our alliance. So we just launched that last week. I don't know if you might have seen the email about it, but they're kind of filling that void in a way. I'm not sure if the podcasting member team will come back, but as of right now, there is a podcast that we produced and the business support team is helping with it.
Great, that's awesome. Is it on like Spotify and all that stuff?
Yeah, so it's on our Ujima SoundCloud right now, and we co-produced it with another pod called Moonlighters Club, and so it should be on their platforms as well.
Right.
Yeah. Are you
Asha, right?
Oh, sorry.
Moonlighters Club is part of Asha.
Oh, is it? Is that the like the production group that they're part of? I wasn't sure.
Okay, I saw them on your sponsors or something, I think. Oh no, maybe I'm thinking of something else. I'm thinking of Cotton Club.
You're thinking about Cotton Club.
My bad. Yes. Yeah, my bad. Okay. Yeah. It was a club.
Oh my gosh. Wait, Lars, do you live in Somerville or Boston proper?
I live in Lower Alston. I moved out here from Somerville, like a year ago when we sort of figured out where we were going to be, just so I could get to know the neighborhood and connect.
Interesting, Lower Alston. Interesting. Yeah. I almost moved to Alston, but I was worried that it wasn't a real neighborhood. Like it was full of students, and I didn't feel like it was a true community. I don't know.
There's plenty of students for sure, but there's also a lot of lifers here.
Mm.
Yeah, it's pretty mixed. It's good. I like it. And then over in just, Brighton's just like right across too, right on the Brighton line.
Exactly. Brighton's a very interesting neighborhood too. Cool. Well, we are at 7:25 now, Dzidor. I don't know if you want to start to open it up and perhaps some more folks will join. But I feel like we have a great group here that we can start with.
For sure. Hello, everyone. Hope all is well with everyone. I feel like we should do a nice check-in, but before that, the middle of the weeks are always really like either too much or not enough or just great, and then a good setting for the rest of the week. But either way, I always like to take a moment to just sit in my body and do completely nothing. And since we are indulging and consuming a lot of art tonight, I figured it'd be a good time to just explore whatever is in our mind and just give ourselves time to just empty ourselves before we are filled back up again, or we choose to be filled back up again. So in this moment, I ask that you get into a very comfortable position, whether it be laying down or seated on this lovely couch that Lars is seated on. Have your feet planted on the floor. And if you have anything in your hand, I ask that you just put it to the side for now. Maybe have your hands palm facing down on your knees. I also have a toddler in the space. So if at any given moment he says my name, I'll probably tend to him. Just giving y'all a warning now.
What's his name?
His name is Boal. He's currently watching some sort of cartoon about dinosaurs.
Oh, awesome.
He's like very invested in dinosaurs' lives. So it's my friend's son, and I thought it was a joy that he wanted to come with me.
That's so cool.
So, okay, beautiful. So get into a comfortable position. And I also invite you to close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, I want you to just listen to the sound that is around you. Maybe there are cars going by your house, a fire truck. Maybe there are people talking outside of your door. Meditation or stillness doesn't really require that everything is quiet, rather that you are silent and you are just listening. And everything just operates just as it normally would. So just listen. Maybe the vent is blowing out some air in your room, or a kid is watching some cartoon about dinosaurs and it's really loud. Just listen. I'll invite you to take a deep breath in through your nose and release it through your mouth. So 1, 2, 3, inhale through your nose. 1, 2, 3, release through your mouth. Again. 1, 2, 3, breathe in through your nose. 1, 2, 3, release through your mouth. Again. 1, 2, 3, breathe in through your nose. 1, 2, 3, release through your mouth. Last time. 1, 2, 3, breathe in through your nose. 1, 2, 3, release through your mouth. And when you are ready to come back, I want you to type the first word that pops up in your mind, no matter how silly it may be, or how serious it is. Love it. Beautiful. Nice. Thank you for doing that with me. Maybe I needed it more than y'all did. I don't know. But I'm very grateful that y'all opened the session with me in that way. Now more on to the active things. I am a huge fan rather of the Theater of the Oppressed group in New York, not North Carolina, and have learned a lot from them about how to unlearn how we think about the teacher and student dynamic. So they borrow a lot from the Theater of the Oppressed, written by Augusto Boal. So a lot of my icebreakers are inspired by Augusto Boal and of course Theater of the Oppressed in New York. So the game that I want to play with you guys today is called Opposite of Jackson. And so the game is very simple. I will tell you to do something and I want you to do the complete opposite. So if I say, come here, I want y'all to do the complete opposite of whatever come here is. Okay, so let's try it. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Beautiful, that was good. When I say clap, I want you to snap. So I know there's no opposite for clapping, but I want you to snap. So here we go. Clap. 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 Beautiful. Let's try this one. If I say dance, I want you to freeze. So dance. 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 Okay, freeze. 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 Beautiful. So I think y'all have it. Are y'all ready?
Yeah.
All right. All right. Clap. 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 Okay. Dance. 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 No, dance. Bars. Dance. Dance. Okay, come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. No, come here. Come here. Come here. Okay, go away. Go away. Just go away. Go away. Go away. Go away. Go away. Go away. No, go away. 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 All right, who wants to give it a try?
I can try.
Go for it.
We're supposed to be like, never.
All right.
Question. Go ahead, Paige.
Talk. Talk. Say something. Say anything. What are some more things?
You can use the same ones that I used.
Oh, great. Okay. So snap. 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 Keep snapping. Snap, snap. Now come here. Closer. Closer. Super close. Nice. What were some more ones that you did, Dzidzor?
Dance and freeze.
Oh yeah. Freeze. 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 Nice.
Lars, you want to give it a try?
Sure. Yeah. It's like reverse Simon Says or something. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Sit down, first of all. Nope. Yep. There you go. Stay seated. That's great. Stay seated. Snap your hands while you're at it. Shucks. And then how about freezing? Yeah, I think you aced it. I'm good. You're good.
Thank y'all for playing that with me. So I have a couple of questions to follow up. Oh, Lewis is back. Hello, Lewis.
Oh. Hey, Louise.
Luis.
God.
So was that easy to play?
I think at some point my brain hit a switch and then it was like always looking for the opposite. So you just got to like get into it until that switch happens. And then it gets easier, I'll say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think for me, I'm not, it was hard to improvise new prompts. That was the hard part for me.
Yeah. Oh, more the being the person calling it than.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Indeed. And did it get harder or I know Lars, you mentioned that it got harder. Do you remember why you said it? Sorry, I blanked out.
Oh, I think it got easier. You know, you sort of have to climb that two walls. One is just unfamiliarity and then it clicks and then you're thinking opposite, right? So you just got to do that. And then the other one is just overcoming. I'll be honest, I don't get that active on Zoom that often. So your self-consciousness and just getting in the flow. And then once you're sort of in the flow, then like everything, it's easier.
Yeah. Paige, since you came up with new ones, was it harder to think about the opposite of what the new ones would be, or was it not? And was it just easy?
Yeah. I wanted to pick prompts that you would understand what the opposite was. So I had to kind of think ahead on the spot too. So that felt challenging.
Okay.
Definitely.
Oh yeah, and I think I definitely benefited from the order, like being the last one, watching Paige have to like, I was like, oh, okay, I got this now.
You need a Paige.
I get to learn twice as long, basically.
So this is a pretty heavy question, but I thought it was very interesting. What else do we do every day or often because everyone else does? Are we programmed? People who are labeled like us, whether it be young women, human, are told to do so. And what do you do every day that makes you itch under the skin with frustration? I know these are pretty very intense, but we're getting somewhere here. Like, in how many ways are we so familiar with words or things that we do that we just don't even think, but we just instantly operate in? And we could name several things.
Well, yeah, so it's one I speak with my daughter quite a bit about, which is the whole "you're welcome" thing. And I hear a lot, somebody will say, "Oh, thank you," and somebody say, "Oh, no problem," a lot. They won't often say "you're welcome." And so I'm always encouraging my daughter to say, be one step more gracious and just acknowledge that, there's a relationship and it's okay to say "you're welcome." So that's one of those sort of like, it's not quite an opposite, but when someone says thank you, why not say "you're welcome"? So I listen on the radio now all the time. And I'm always listening, when the people are done at the interview and the host always says, "Well, thank you for coming." And everybody's always like, "Oh, thank you." "You're welcome" has sort of disappeared. And I'm not sure why, but I'm just encouraging my daughter to use "you're welcome."
Lars, that also makes me think of our response to "how are you?" In passing. It's almost like a greeting. Like no one really is asking to get a response. I had a friend of mine who called, like we were talking about things and he was telling me that he was walking somewhere, and someone he's a truck driver, so he like meets people all the time. And he had asked the person, "How are you?" And the person responded, and he just kept walking. He was like, "Oh, that's good." And he was like, "Wait a minute." You're actually responding to the question. And so he had to like check him. It was like he had to check himself, because he was like, wait, I did ask this person, "How are you?" But we don't. And I notice I do it too. I'm always like, "Hey, how are you?" and keep it moving. And I do it more up here than down south. Down south, I would get slapped by my father. But like up here, it's like like a passing. I don't even really care to sit and with the answer. And so that's something that I've like, your answer made me think of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up in a French-speaking country, and it's always the same, ça va? Ça va? Ça va. You good? It's all good.
Yeah. Is it genuine, "I'm good," or is it just like a response in passing?
I think it depends on the day, where the person's at, sometimes it could be, I think when people are okay, it's genuine, but not every time somebody will stop to share their business or whatever because they just assume you're being nice or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like this. Yeah, it's interesting. We flatten out for some reason, pace of life. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel that. I was going to say that when it comes to other things that I do, like in opposition to folks out of habit, I think about the way that a lot of Westerners accept compliments. It's very self-deprecating oftentimes. So if someone compliments you, you might say thank you, or you might say, "Oh, no," and then you kind of like shrug off the compliment, or you try and give them a compliment as a response. I think that's a really funny thing that I've observed in myself. Yeah.
You're reading.
That'd be a fun essay to write, like how to own a compliment.
Ooh.
And then give back, right? Like you don't have to deflect it, own it. It's good. You are beautiful today, or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, child, y'all read me. Thank you for participating in that. Luis, did you want to contribute anything, or I welcome you to the conversation? We're just kind of checking in, and we play this game and of opposite of everything. The question that I asked before you came in was, what do we do every day where we're programmed to do something and we do the complete opposite, or where we're programmed and we just act on certain things? So if you want to contribute to the conversation, you're more than welcome to. Okay.
And I would just say, hi, Louise. I hope you're doing good. I couldn't quite tell. It looked like you might be in a like a care. I hope you're being taken care of good where you at. But just saying hi.
Yes, indeed. Okay.
Okay, honey. Let me take this. The phone is not going anywhere. No, I'm on meeting. Oh, okay.
Luis, you doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm in rehab right now.
Oh, good.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you for being on. Hopefully you're taking care.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I want you guys to keep that activity in mind. Just as you're going through the day. I don't think there's a deeper context of how to unpack that game, but just keep that in mind as we're about to do this activity. So my theme lately has been, how can I use my work in performance art to bring to the attention or to center our bodies and healing? I think healing is a trend word, which I'm very well aware of, but I'm a person who, because I grew up in the church the way that I grew up, I tend to stray away from telling folks how to heal, and rather remind folks of the power that they have within themselves to heal, whatever that may look like, and healing from trauma, healing from all of these experiences that brings us to this very moment. And so one of the ways in which I tend to explore my own thoughts or feelings towards things is usually through noise. Whether it's good noise or bad noise, it's up to the person who is listening, mostly me. And most of the time, my bad noise is my good noise. And so I thought it would be a really dope opportunity to share a couple of examples of people who have used words or language to describe their own healing narrative. And explore their own healing narrative in hopes that you all will create some form of healing narrative through some sort of creative expression, whether it be through noise or video or pictures or sitting on a couch and recording it. Like, it is really up to you. And so the examples that I'm sharing, I'll talk a little bit about each. And I'll ask questions in between the videos. Just so that we're kind of engaging with each other and being interactive. But we're just examining how healing, or the question thereof, is shared through the work of all of these people and what that looks like. And I think, once again, healing is this trendy word. And for some reason, everyone seems to always have the answer to how we could have healing. And I think for a lot of us, maybe we don't have the answer, maybe we do. But I find that it's a beautiful conversation to have. So the first person that I want to show you is an artist by the name of Montell Fish. Montell Fish does these short YouTube videos where he talks and explores his own thoughts, which I think is really beautiful because some of it sometimes seems very unrehearsed. And as a performer, I love the impromptu moments of artists who are able to just share and not have anything rehearsed. Growing up in a Black church, most of the times when the spirit moved, it was a very unrehearsed moment that happened. And it was the times where people were delivered or were most impacted, when things weren't rehearsed or they were unplanned. So this person goes by the name of Montell. I was about to say Montell Jordan, Lord Jesus. Can y'all see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, all good.
Beautiful. I should probably share my sound. I don't think I did that. Let me stop it here. Yeah. Also, don't judge my tabs. It's just the way I live my life, okay?
Here to support you.
What can you do with your hands? God has given every one of us something to do. We can do millions of things with these things attached to our arms. With these hands, I've seen people healed. I've seen people healed through the things created with it. And with these hands, I've also seen people hurt with them. The one who designed these hands gave us all a purpose. We are on this earth to know why we are here, to know how we can help, love, and serve one another. Everyone's hands are different, down to the fingerprints. So the way you help is different from the way I help. But we are all just as effective. What can you do with the hands God has given you?
Yeah, so what came up for us with that? Feel free to share honest thoughts too. Not everything I share is perfect or great. But what came up for us for that? It could be in response to his video and his words.
I really liked his voice. I'll start there. Drew me in, very calm, and went nice with the strings. I didn't pay attention to the visuals. I was listening mostly, and because his age was indeterminate, it reminded me of sort of fatherhood and how hands are so important to fatherhood. Motherhood too, of course, my experience being the fatherhood side of it. So I was actually thinking about my daughter when she was very young. Probably the best thing my hands have done is, you know, cradle a kid kind of thing. Maybe I'm thinking that way because you got bone back there.
I think that's a beautiful line. Sorry, Paige. I think that's such a beautiful line. The best thing I've ever held in my hand is to cradle a kid. I love that line.
Yeah, that really hit me. What was I thinking about? I mean, I was thinking about how I don't really use my hands for much beyond, like, I don't use my hands for anything like expressive too much. I think there's some folks who talk with their hands, or they might use their hands in their trade or in their art to practice. My hands just be typing all the time. My hands type all day, every day. They're always clutching something or typing something. They don't get a chance to really chill or like just be. And that's really, really interesting to think about. Yeah.
Right. Wait, I have another video to share. Excuse me. This is a song by one of my favorite Ghanaian artists. And it's a little long, so I'll start in the middle somewhere. And there is the English words of translation in the bottom. So I'll make that bigger.
Can you also drop the links for the videos in the chat?
Yes, I would love to.
Amazing.
I have it posted, so I'll do that. Can y'all see that?
Yep.
Is it blurry to y'all?
Yo corotona kwe Akbano no de kakwe Namo chimo namo de na kwe Okoga Nukara la shio vamo kwamo tundu Nukara la shio vamo chimo tundu Amo oto Ujima mokwa modundo Amo oto Ujima mokwa Na Ujima aka yankuno nado Yankuno nado Agbano no de kakwe Yo corotona kwe Easy. Yeah, you know be where we dey go, where they talk. If you what we dey do before we dey go, how they talk. Your life be one pair, my guy. Forget say we all dey die. Focus on the positive, that be too negative, my guy. It be my thoughts, it be your thoughts. We just dey talk, but we dey learn. It be my thoughts, I just dey talk. You go fit take, you go feel left. But me, I talk, I jam my eye, your eye. They see self, I dey lie. What you do, plus your brain, your heart, then your hand, where nobody tied. I know that before, you know that before. I say you die, you die. You say you die, you fly to heaven, so I they lie. Sometimes you too, you they lie, cause you know that before. With me too, I know that before. Both ways you go die, I go die. How many already they die? How many lives have you changed? How many laugh? How many they cry? Your powers where you there, you selfish bastard. You take off like some bro give you, some bro teach you why you know give some bro too. We all know say heaven they be. But Charlie right here we did, Ghana we did. How many people will suffer before you leave? You get power, you die now where the power dey. You made it to heaven. Good news, hallelujah. You did chill for heaven. Hope your kiddies they chill for here too. Your kiddies be 7. Good news.
The video is really, really long. But I'm hoping y'all got the chorus, unless y'all want me to play it out a little bit more. What came up for y'all watching that?
I actually really liked the scenes of the man on the bus, like coming back to the scenes of that travel on the bus kind of set up. I think when I'm in transit on long bus rides or long car rides, I do a lot of thinking. Like I think watching watching like land go by in front of you on a moving car does something for you mentally. At least for me, it does. Watching things roll by me definitely is quite soothing, I guess. And I come to a lot of realizations in moments like those. So I kind of liked that it was anchoring the video.
I was having a little bit the opposite experience about the whole hands thing, like using them differently, a little more abusive maybe in some of that, which hasn't been my experience. But so it was like a jarring. But what was nice about it was his music is so soothing. So despite the domestic struggles and the violence the little kid was living with, music was hopeful and soothing at the same time. So I appreciated that.
Nice. So I have like 2 or 3 more, letting you know, because I know that Zoom fatigue is a thing, and I want to honor y'all's body. So if at any given moment, if you need to stretch or to get up and move, you're more than welcome to do so. This one, there is no voice. It does require that it's more visual than there is voice. But I really enjoy this person's videos. Maya Deren she's dead, so she's super old. She was like, this is a very, very old video, which is why I find it very fascinating in how she tells stories. And Paige, I'll put the links at the end, if that's okay. Tell me what came up for y'all. And it was very quick too. I'm always surprised of how short her videos are. What came up for you guys?
Yeah, I guess I'm still like parsing through what I saw, but I guess because there wasn't any vocalization, you really had to pay attention to the movements of the main character. And I kind of realized why I don't watch a lot of black and white films, and I really like never watched silent movies or anything like in sort of the classic film canon that would be similar to this. And I think I don't watch those kinds of films because I live for the sound and for the vocals. I live for like an actor's voice that makes the story come alive for me. So it felt difficult to like latch on to the story without that. So I guess I'm still processing that, but it was interesting.
Yeah, I wrestled, I think, the most with the music and trying to create a link in my mind between what I was hearing and what I was seeing. At some point, I sort of got into her tumbling down the stairs, and I was wondering what she was tumbling away from. And then maybe I missed it the first time, but then there was that figure, obviously, with like a mirror. So it became sort of, I don't know, for me, it shifted from a person fleeing an exterior threat to kind of someone being in her own house and fleeing her own fears or something like that. That's kind of what came to me. And then maybe like what you're saying, Paige, I was then trying to like figure out the beach and the exterior scenes and the knife and kill your demons and all that, but I haven't got there yet. I'm still working on all that. I wake up at 5 a.m. Thank you. I'll be like, oh.
Yeah, I still watch it and I'm like, what? Okay, it's cool. But yeah, I also thought that it was her running from her own self, the hooded person with the mirror. I was like, oh, easily. But even I watch her videos often because I really do find inspiration in it in some weird way. Sometimes I'm like, I didn't notice that the first time, and I love stuff that I could revisit and find something new. It's like a scavenger hunt. Okay, so I lied earlier. I have 2 more videos. And so this one is by Sun Ra. Sun Ra is one of the jazz musicians, a legend. And what's really cool about Sun Ra is that he didn't believe he was of this earth. So he believed that he was from Saturn. I don't know if that pulled me, because I was like, oh, I thought I was the only alien on this earth. And I just find his music very fascinating because it's so chaotic. So you think Maya's stuff is weird, you're gonna really be weirded out with Sun Ra stuff. But he's a jazz musician, so I'm sure it would, I don't know, maybe it might not make sense. Anywho, the piece that I'm showing you is from the movie Space is the Place. And yeah, so we'll watch it from there, and then after that we'll talk. Actually, I'm not gonna play the last video. I think I'll give y'all a break from that. Oh, and in this part of the movie, he sets up a call center to head to space, and he's trying to take all of the Black people to space. And his belief is that because Black people on this earth aren't seen as human, he wants to take all the Black people and take them to another planet, and they'll be able to exist freely without having to experience oppression. And so in this scene specifically is the call center, and yeah, it might not make sense, but the movie is on YouTube. Oh, same thing. Come on. Just a little bit.
We're gonna all be out in the street, or what's worse, on welfare.
You can get a job on our discipline planes, but being of the particular race you are.
Oh, no. I'd consider a cut in salary.
We don't really have salaries in our dimension. We creators never receive anything for our work.
I got to learn your methods.
multiplicity adjustment, readjustment synthesis, isotope teleportation, transmolecularization, frequency polarization, intergalactic realm of eternal darkness, intergalactic realm of eternal black darkness, white darkness, infinity incorporated.
Oh, I see, Mr. Ra. Well, thank you very much. It's been nice. I've got to be going now. I really have another appointment.
You find Earth boring, just the same old same thing. Come on, sign up without a space wave. Incorporated. You find Earth boring, just the same old same thing. Come on, sign up without a space wave. Incorporated. Come on, sign up without a space wave. Incorporated.
I think you're on mute, Dzidzor, if you're talking.
What came up for y'all is y'all were watching that scene.
So 70s. It's great. Honestly, what I was reminded of is Saul Williams has a new movie out called Neptune Frost, and it feels like he's kind of taken off from a little piece of that, like all right, here we are, we're on the planet, let's check it out. So if you get a second, I think it's on the film festival circuit right now, but there might be a trailer or something online. It looks beautiful anyways, and kind of an update, the same sort of Afro-futurist, maybe a little less 70s trippiness, but it's all there. It's fun. So I love, I guess what I'm coming to, it didn't hit me when you asked the question, but what I'm coming to is it's nice to still see the dream alive.
Yeah.
With less heroin, which is good.
Yes. I love
maybe more Miles Davis, but
Exactly.
I'm definitely gonna check out that movie too.
It's called Neptune Frost.
Yeah.
Okay.
That might be a whole movie night thing that we
fun.
Ooh, cool.
All right. Let's see if we can get him here. Special Ujima something, that'd be fun.
We might have to make that happen.
I think he could. The film's going to be releasing in the US, but sorry, I don't want to take us off. But I'm here to help make that happen.
Isn't he? Is he in New York?
Yeah, I think he produced this from out in France somewhere, but I think he's back. He's probably in LA. I don't know. LA, New York.
Super cool. Yeah, I mean, we actually did a wire about Afrofuturism a while ago, and for that we did talk about Sun Ra, and there is an allusion to this video. I'm so glad you included this. Yeah, I just think of just how experimental this content is, and how so few artists are doing this, or trying to build on the work that he was doing in terms of the aesthetics, but also the sound. It feels like mainstream music just like eats up all of our attention, and less space is given to folks who are doing more experimental stuff, which is a whole can of worms. But I'm glad that there are a lot of Afrofuturist nerds out there who look to this as like a North Star in a lot of ways. Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah.
There's I see a lot of mumble rappers.
Mm-hmm.
Like they may not mainstream. Sorry about that. They may not. Okay, cool. Okay. They may not in the mainstream maybe put it out and say this is futurism, but what I like, kind of take my grown-up lens off, and like look at a lot of their works, and I'm recognizing that a lot of like the younger mumble artists are also creating these worlds. Travis Scott, for one, when he had that gold head, but like all of his like videos or songs, it was like new worlds. And I was like, oh shoot, like, you know, but because I'm an adult and old, I'm like, I ain't listening to this mess. But they're also like, I don't know if they're directly doing it, but I think it's really beautiful how they're creating their own worlds. And Little Uzi Vert too is like this like cartoon character that lives in human form. You have a diamond in the middle of your forehead, but you know, and I just feel like, what world do you live in that you were like, this is going to be my real life, you know? And I feel like as we get older, we tend to be like, this is real art and these kids don't know what they're doing. But I'm like, actually, they're creating their own worlds too, you know, whether we like to think of it as an invitation to their world or not, that's what they're doing. And these kids grew up on cartoons too. Anywho, but that's a long story. But we could admire the Sun Ra and the Saul Williams and, you know, and all of these beautiful, you know, aesthetically pleasing avant-garde musicians and artists, and tend to shy away from acknowledging and honoring what the new kids are creating because it doesn't look like how we imagined. But I do it too. I'm talking about myself, honestly, because I be playing hating all the way. But I can honor that. I can definitely honor the worlds that they create.
Well, I love that too, because I mean, in a way, right? Like, I don't know when that movie was made, like 78, something like that, 79 maybe. I mean, Sun Ra was blown up, but I don't know if at the time, in even Saul Williams' film today, I don't know if it'd be considered like the great art, you know, of the time, right? His time or now. I think they're very much experimentalists in trying to push it, and they weren't in the mainstream back then. They are now because history carried the day. But I do think that the tools have democratized so much that now the challenge is like, you know, of all of the avant-gardeness that we're consuming, we just have to kind of get out of the trap of trying to figure out who's going to be the great artist and just go with whose world do you enjoy. Back then there wasn't so much choice, you know, and I think I like what you're saying about you know, these young people raised on such a breadth of cartoon content. Now there's such a stronger feeling of empowerment to create your worlds. Minecraft, you know, and all these world building technologies that they're familiar with. Maybe now we have a generation of empowered Imagineers to go out there and inspire us.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. There was something you said that I wanted to say something too, but I forgot. So I'll let that live in whatever space it exists in. But yeah, no, that's so true. That's so true. I did want to show one more video of Moor Mother, but because it's 8:15 or 8:13, I kind of want to set off the exercise so that we could begin our own process of creating something. So I think all of these videos are very different, but one thing that's similar is that they're expressing something. They are saying something, and whether you choose to understand it or not, I don't understand some of these videos. Sometimes I just like looking at them, but whether you choose to understand it or not, these people felt the need to express something and say it out loud. And I think that's what's so beautiful about us existing on this earth, that we're able to say things even if no one is listening. And I think that's also a beauty, that although we desire ears to consume the things that we say, or we desire to be seen, the reality is that not every moment gives us that space to be seen or to be heard. But it doesn't discredit or devalue the voice, the stories, the song or the things that we create or have to say. And so I thought it would be really dope to see a variety of different videos and how they choose to express themselves, so that we could kind of be inspired to create our own videos and present it, or not videos, anything, create anything and present it in our next class. And so we've been thinking about healing as a narrative, very vaguely, not in depth. But I want you to, if you have a piece of paper or a phone or something that you could write something on, I have a couple of questions that I want to ask you, and you don't have to answer it in this moment. Maybe it comes over time, and you can begin if you desire to do so. But I want you to think about these questions, and if they stay questions, that's also okay. But what I want you to do is really sit with those questions and the answers that you give or do not give. And I want you to create something in honor of these questions or the answers or the thoughts that they inspire. So maybe it's a video, maybe it's a poem, maybe it's a story, maybe it's a series of pictures. But just think about something that you can create from your own hands, from your own voice, from your own eyes or ears, and then present it the next time that we meet. And I'm hoping that I'm going to send an email out before, possibly maybe even twice, just to remind you guys, but in preparation for next month, okay? So the question is, what is healing? And in this season, where has healing taken you? What has healing taken you? In this season, what has healing, or where has healing taken you? And this next question is really inspired by the ways or the language in which we use to share truth. And sometimes I think is very harsh. And one of those things is I'm calling out. And so my challenge to you is to not necessarily call out, but to call into. So the prompt is I'm calling into. And so you would answer this in whichever way you believe that you are being called into something. And you could use this as a way of saying you're calling out, you're speaking a truth out from you. I feel like the communities that I'm in, usually they would say things like, I'm calling this person out in order to demand a truth or to call out something or to bring awareness to something. And so we're using that still the same thing. However, we're saying we're calling into ourselves. I think I want to kind of crave on that softness, which doesn't necessarily mean like very gentle, but soft could just mean like, wait, the body needs a little caress, a little touch. Okay. So calling into, I'm calling into. Right. So the three questions are, what is healing in the season? Where has healing taken you? And I'm calling into. And so this is the prompt that will lead you to create something, whether it be sound, voice, video. You choose to create it. It could be 5 minutes of you sitting on the couch, but it is up to you. So yeah, that is today's session. I know we're ending a little early, but I really want you to sit with these questions. So if you want to take the next 10 minutes to just kind of sit with this before you move on to the next thing, we could do that. But it is up to you. Cool. And so on that note, let's take a deep breath in through our nose and release through our mouth. Last time, take a deep breath in through your nose and release through your mouth. And write the first word that comes to mind in the chat box. Oh, I gotta laugh. Yes. Does anyone have any questions for me? Gratitude, love it. Does anyone have any questions for me?
I don't have a question, but I wanted to share something in closing. So whenever we're ready for that, I'll do that. But I don't have a question. I want to say thank you.
Close us out. Thank you. Thank you. Oh wait, how do we receive compliments? You're welcome.
Yes.
Oh. Nice.
Is that what you wanted to say to close us out?
No, not at all. But I want to make sure I didn't cut Louise or Paige off or anything either.
Yeah. I would just echo my thanks and gratitude. I always look forward to these learning pods. I wish they were more often because they're so generative for me. But thank you. I'm ready to close out if y'all are.
Yeah, I am too.
Oh, nice. Well, do you know the poet Ross Gay? He's got this, I forget what the full book is, but he's got this poem called A Catalog of Unabashed Gratitude. And I was thinking about that when you played the hands piece. So I've put the link in the chat. It's a long poem. It's like maybe 10, 12 minutes. I can't remember. But I just love it. It's one of my favorites right now. So I just wanted to share it with you.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm gonna listen to that as well.
Yeah, put on headphones. It's like a big blanket. You just want to put it on.
And I'm also posting the links of videos that I shared and some that I didn't share that I thought was very helpful. So feel free to check those out. Maybe I should put them in a playlist and y'all too. So maybe I'll do that too. Put it in a playlist and then just send y'all the link in an email.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you for sharing that poem, Lars. I
wish I would.
I read an article. I read the same. No, I heard someone. I read something about how people who want to get more into poetry, it's a good exercise to try and memorize one poem a month, and then you're supposed to memorize it and then like read it every day for a month. And apparently, you find new meaning in it, or you kind of internalize it fully over that month. So if people are feeling open to that, there's a practice around it.
All right, on.
That's
around.
Hey, share that with me. I'll put, or I think I send you the email,
the recap, or what do you mean?
Yeah, send the email to send to everyone.
Oh yes, I can. Yes, totally.
Email too.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I will. That sounds good.
Nice.
Yay.
Well, good night, everyone. Get some rest. Sending y'all so much love, and I'll see y'all next month.
All right. See you next month.
Yes. Bye, everyone. Take care.
Bye.